Hello, everyone, and welcome to Best Served Cold. The executive producer is here, right down here. You can see him. He's waiting, but being kind of polite about it this time, which is great because he was a huge piece of shit earlier. A real son of a bitch. Yeah. I hope everybody is doing well on this Wednesday afternoon or evening as it may be. We're going back to Best Served Cold today. We're still on chapter 1. We have made it through the prologue. We are now investigating the death of Alina Dragos, chess prodigy, and wealthy new money, having been poisoned in a tea shop. Currently, our suspects are her best friend that was down super bad for her, a foppish dipshit, her horrible bitch best friend, or the tea shop owner that knows way too much about poisons for some reason. So we're slowly working on trying to develop alibis for everybody and figure out exactly what it is that happened to this woman. Hello. You can never know too much about poisons. I do agree. We did find out that the down bad bestie checked out a book of poisons.
Pizza time.
I need you to stop sniffing my hair, man. You'll get your treats though. These are from Schmauderkeg, bud. Yeah. You know where to go. Oh no, this bag's empty. I gotta go get a new bag for the boy. Hold with me, please. I'm sorry. I will be right back. A fresh bag, ladies and gentlemen. And those outside of typical binaries. Buddy. Yeah. Anyway, these are from Schmauderkeg. There it goes. Man on a mission. All right. Let's go to the game cam. Oh, the last thing we did last time as well is we got access to a big weird computer. The Stack. And we were using that to look up some information here and there. It's time to lick the cat tree. Get as much flavor out of there as you can. Welcome to the Stack. Search a topic. So last time, I think, we looked up Alina. So let's just start from the top. Let's look up what it says on everyone. Vincent Floer. Registered. Vincent Floer, born 1872 in Bukovi, patriarch of the current generation of the Floer family. I found many mentions of Mr. Floer's financial contributions to numerous municipal projects. There's also records of 2 political donations and half a dozen university papers listed. Silas Tech lists Mr. Floer as a primary investor during Stack's initial development. He received one of the first prototypes, as well as a lifetime subscription to the service. That's convenient. Mr. Floair oversees the Floair Foundation, which has business interests in the political, administrative, and charitable spheres of Zara. I also have a police report that shows Mr. Floair was cautioned last year for running an illicit speakeasy. The report mentions Constable Hugo Mertens as the officer making the report. Detective Hugo Mertens. Detective Hugo Nestor Mertens is a detective for the Bakovy police force who has been mentioned in 7 articles. He is not Tsarin. There is mention of Detective Mertens of the Brux Police Constabulary in the country of Belgia. The earliest mention of Detective Mertens in Zara was 1926. He is listed as one of the youngest detectives in Zara, having received a promotion in November last year after his work on the Bakovy killer case. The police were unable to apprehend the presumed perpetrator, Elliot Lynn, though no more cases have occurred since his disappearance. That's all the information I have. How does this machine work? Registered. The Silas Tech Archive Connections, or STACKS, is a major step forward in information technology. It connects users via radio phone terminal with operators who will answer user queries from the comfort of their homes. It's time to trade in your encyclopedias and stick with Stack. There's a person answering all these questions? Confirmed. My name is Ilya, and I'm an operator for Silas Tech. How can I assist you today? How do you know all these things? The finest reference material ever printed, cross-referenced by skilled, articulate information officers, like me. Interesting. What does an operator do? Are there other operators? Operators are trained information officers ready to help manage your searches. Operators are designated on a per-console basis, though some consoles may share operators. If I'm not meeting your expectations, please let us know. Should you wish to change to a different operator, you can submit a request from the main menu. You're doing wonderfully. That will be all. Tell me about Elena Ernest. Registered. Elena Ernest. Born 1867. First customary searches indicate her name is mentioned in a dozen press articles. A more comprehensive search would give more detailed results. Elena Ernest worked as a Bakovy Police Department detective until the late 90s, when she switched careers to become a private investigator. Is Ilya a romance option? I hope so. Romance the computer operator. She solved many crimes, including a double homicide in Bakovy in 1899, where the constabulary failed to make progress until she came on board. Tell me about Maria Popa. Registered. Maria Popa, born 1906 in Bakovy, is a chess player known for her 1921 first-place finish in the Tsarin Northern Region's Chess Grand Prix. She won a tournament in 1921 at age 15. She's a local to Bakovy. According to chess periodicals, she's archived top 3 finishes in several more competitions, though I can't find the tournament names. What about Killian Durand? Registered. Killian Durand, born 1905, as the child of businessmen Maurice Durand and Dr. Agatha Durand. Several archives contain documents regarding the applications for a variety of notable universities and colleges in and around the nation of Zara. None of them are marked for approval, as all the attached application tests display a grade below the accepted standard. He was able to start medical studies at Bakovy University as a legacy student due to his mother's status as an alumnus, but dropped out in his second year. Oh, he's such a fail son. Tell me about Wendy Brooker. Registered. Brooker is a common surname in Zara. Nothing else about Wendy Brooker? Records show no notable entries with that name. Even in the context of old money? Please hold. Reason. Records for old money families are often missing or incomplete. This can happen for many reasons, but sometimes it's because they have the resources to protect their privacy. The monitor seems to be receiving more information, but the connection is slow, and for a while, no new text appears. You periodically look back at the screen to see if there's anything new. As you're about to flick the switch to reset the terminal, a response finally appears. Query complete for all registered old money families, their marriages, relationships, children, and adoptions, with mentions of the individual, Wendy Brooker. 0 matches found. Please note that archives may be incomplete due to privacy restrictions. Hey! Wendy? Are you Wendy? That's concerning. That she's fully nothing in the records. That makes me think it's not a real identity. Why isn't the game capturing? The jazz wasn't there. Why didn't y'all tell me? Is Wendy not who Wendy says Wendy is? I think Wendy might not be Wendy. I think Wendy might be lying about who Wendy is. Hi. Tell me about Feng Bai. Feng Bai, registered. Feng Bai, born 1873. Miss Bai migrated from the Empire of Huaxia to Zara in 1893 and is the current proprietress of a small tea house called the Tea Terrace just off the central boulevard of Bakovi. Local articles from Zaran newspapers focus on a recent murder that took place at her establishment. Please give me some time to find out more information in translations from Huashan papers. A series of 3 dots begins to loop on the side of the terminal. Since this will take some time, you decide to return to the bar and check in later. I was wondering if Wendy might be too old to be named Wendy. I just think she may not be who she says she is. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice the screen flashes and a new prompt appears. Research translation complete. Thank you for your patience. Feng Bai was mentioned in an article from a Huashan newspaper regarding a mass poisoning that took place at a tea house where she was employed as a waitress. The constabulary asked me to translate this particular newspaper 6 years ago, and I still have it on file. An old, wealthy family that visited had become the target of a vigilante organization set on strategic assassinations of ancient, affluent crime families. At the time, no evidence was found at the scene that could incriminate any of the staff, and the investigation was quickly closed when the vigilante organization claimed responsibility for the attack. That is all I could find. Huashan newspapers are hard to come by, and they're difficult to translate. More thorough investigation would require several months of processing time. The name was invented for Peter Pan in 19... Wait, is that a real thing, Annie Danny? The name Wendy was invented for Peter Pan? That's wild. I didn't know that. What a fascinating little tidbit. Huh. It is an alternate universe, so it's hard to say whether or not Peter Pan exists here. But that's a really interesting thing. Fascinating. Edutainment. Tell me about the lethal poisons of Zara, computer. Registered. Sorry, did you say you want information on lethal poisons? Yes. Please clarify the reason for this query. Such information may violate our safety protocols. It's for research. You are not the only person to ask about this topic recently. Are you pursuing this query in a professional context? I'm working with Detective Mertens. Confirmed. There are hundreds of lethal poisons. Which ones are you interested in? Poisons that are hard to detect in drinks. Confirmed. Results will be filtered to those marked botanical poisons whose natural essence will not greatly alter the taste of beverages. There's a brief delay. The most commonly used botanical poisons in Zaran history are wildheart, reaper's cap, lynxbane, and moss mold. Most deaths are accidental, though there are some of historical examples of assassination via these poisons. Properties. Confirmed. Now listing all properties of common botanical poisons of Zara when a lethal dose is ingested. Wildheart. Time to take effect, 1 hour. Symptoms: sweating and increased blood pressure leading to heart attack. Reaper's cap. Time to take effect, 8 hours. Symptoms: skin rash, hallucinations, and severe internal hemorrhaging. I don't think it's Reaper's Cap. Lynxbane. Might be this one, considering it came up with a picture. Time to take effect: 4 hours. Symptoms: severe coughing and convulsions with death by asphyxiation. Moss mold. Time to take effect: 30 minutes. Severe psychosis can lead to suicidal ideation. All of these poisons are native only to Zara. All these poisons are native only to Zara and found in and around rural areas. Methods of harvest and extraction will not be shared due to safety protocols. Okay. Bukovi speakeasies. Registered. Under the current Zaran prohibition law, written and signed as Article RCH, Section 2, Case OH, the practice of serving alcoholic beverages is banned outside of religious practices. Are you sure you didn't mean Bukovi bars? No, I meant speakeasies. Silas Tech does not keep records of illegal establishments. However, for reasons of historical preservation, would you like to list one? Yeah, it's got to be Lynxbane for sure. Hey, should we register our illegal speakeasy? Actually, never mind. Yeah, I don't know. We need to build a timeline again now that we have Lynxbane. 4 hours. Shit. He was an hour late. 3 hours before the incident. Actually, that means that he couldn't have. I think that's actually an alibi for Killian. If it takes 4 hours to take effect and he was only there for 3, he didn't have an opportunity to poison Alina. Bartender quickly closes the tab that shows results for poisons that don't take the change drinks. Yeah, that's a really concerning thing for a bartender to be looking up. Oh, man. Okay. I think that actually means it can't be Killian. But I think he's the only one that we have any time frame on. Once I can connect those back in my mind palace, I'll see if we can do that. Oh yeah, we got a pretty packed house tonight. Okay. Let's eavesdrop on the Twink and his bear.
I couldn't get over how balmy the weather was today. Dreadful to know these might be the last good days we'll get before it's nothing but sleet and icy winds for months. Makes me feel pressured to savor it.
Killian, always a red herring perp. That's what I'm saying. She hangs out with him at 9 a.m., then goes to chess at noon, has a drink right away. I don't know. I don't know if that timing, because wasn't she busy having an argument with Maria? Or was that even prior to that? I don't know. I think the timeline actually does give Killian an out.
Makes me feel so pressured to savor it.
Aye, but every season has its merits, hasn't it? If not just the reminder that the world is still spinning on despite it all. Besides, we've already had a pretty good run this year round, I'd say.
Oh, I don't know. There's so much we haven't done yet, too. Why don't you and I go for a walk beyond the city tomorrow, before it gets too cold? I've been meaning to drag you up to the Fenlands one of these days. It's so beautiful out there.
Tomorrow?
Yes! There's this lovely little bradery happening on the Piazza de Peste tomorrow morning, and they have this one stall that sells the most delightful little Viennoseries. Absolutely delectable, especially their eclairs.
That does sound alright, but...
Right? We could pick some up on the way home, and I'll have Andre prepare us a little basket so we can picnic at the lookout point for lunch.
Andre?
Oh, he's just my butler. Anyway, once I saw this funny red dot somewhere around there, and you absolutely must tell me what it is if we find it again. I'm sure you'd know all about it.
Lucas.
I'm not sure if it'll rain, but I'll pack us an umbrella anyway. I don't have binoculars, though, so I'll leave that part to...
Lucas! Lucas's chattering falls silent as Bjorn stops him with a gentle touch on the knee. That all sounds absolutely wonderful. But I have work tomorrow. Hello, Scoop. Welcome in.
Oh. You can't take a day off?
Ha! If only. They still haven't gotten the Union off the ground, and not for lack of trying. After the last attempt, I'll be lucky to get time off for Yule.
Ah. That's unfortunate. Well, why don't we do it on Sunday morning, then? There'll be no market, of course, but I know another bakery that isn't too far out of the way. Cesar usually has the day off on that Sunday, though.
Cesar? I thought his name was Andre.
Oh, no, Cesar is my chauffeur. Anyway, I'm sure if I ask nicely, he'll...
Lucas. I'll drive us. I'll make us gammon and egg sandwiches. I'll pick you up at 8. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
Okay. I trust everything is going smoothly. All right. Can I tempt you, Vincent? Absolutely. Make it something classic. Eastern Ruby it is. That's the purest nectar. Perfection. Okay. Hey, man. Do you know about Feng's past? Dear goddess, bartender. Are these the kind of things Detective Mertens is having you unearth? This buy has been here long before immigrant workers were imported in droves like they are now. Back when our government ran proper background checks. Don't go putting any crazy ideas in your head. Okay. What about... Do you know about Wendy and her visiting family? Fascinating, I'm sure, but I'm not expecting what you want me to add here. Yeah, that's fair. Do you know anything about Lynxbane? Oh, yes, I've read about that one before in an illustrated botanical guide. Beautiful flowers, but very potent indeed. Dreadful to think something so deadly dots many a garden and meadow. He's got thoughts on immigration. How unique. Yay. Vincent, keep that one to yourself. So it's all over the place, huh? You're saying this Boba could be the culprit? It sounds hard to believe, but I'll admit she's changed quite a bit in the year or so since I first saw her at the nightcap. Such a shame. Well then. Not you too, Vincent. Anyone but Vincent.
Goodness, you're still thinking about that, are you? I would not have brought it up if I'd known you'd latch onto it in this fashion. I assure you it's likely a complete coincidence. Miss Poper has an inquisitive mind, that's all. I'll be back soon. Take care.
How the devil have you been? My throat is absolutely parched this evening. Let's get started, shall we? Good evening, Miss Carmine. Actually, wait. What do you think about this one? I feel like this one fits your flavor profile, too. It's a pleasure to see a fellow creative spirit. The improvisation tastes delightful. Thank goodness the majority of the ladies who come by this bar already have girlfriends, right? Okay. Got any gossip about Wendy Brooker? Oh my, it seems my alcohol turned off my capacity for drama. I doubt that. It's a tale I was saving for the radio show. 20 stream streak! Whoa! Nice scoop! Thank you for being here for so often. One of my all-time greatest supporters. It's a tale I was saving for the radio show on the topic of superficiality, but for you, dear? Have you ever noticed how Miss Brooker and I make great efforts when it comes to our public persona? Absolutely. Then perhaps you have noticed that we are not alike, though she may wish it so. Can't say I do. My earrings, choker, headband, all chosen for the occasion. I dress for the impression that I want to make and the people I will see. Miss Brooker, meanwhile, always wears the same diamonds for every event. When I pressed her on this, she claimed they were a family heirloom and had sentimental value. I wasn't convinced, so I examined her earrings and that rock she sometimes wears on her finger. And they're not diamonds. They're rhinestones. As fake as the rouge on my cheeks. Thanks, dear. Love you too. So she's not rich. She's fake rich. Was she bleeding Alina to try to become actual rich? Oh, what a shame that she just disappeared. Oh, Olivia, what a lovely piece of information. Thank you, darling. Moneyed families can fall on hard times, but they sell off their beach houses and fire their help. They don't pawn the family jewels. Refinement sharpens the senses, and without it, a fake can fool many people. But not everyone. Love a lady who knows her gems. Not a fan of a lady who judges people for costume jewelry. Yeah, I wonder if it's that Olivia can smell the rat on it. The fact that she's trying to pass it off is genuine. She's nouveau riche. That was a good pun. Yeah, that's today's pin. I love it. Nouveau riche. I've said enough already. Don't tell anyone. It will spoil the next episode of the show, darling, and I'll know it was you. I wouldn't dare. What's the recent gossip? Oh, come now, darling. That's not how the game is played. Knowledge is power, and we don't give away our power unless forced. And gossip is knowledge with entertainment value. Spicy knowledge, if you will. What does Olivia have to offer? Well, frankly, a lot. But one thing she possesses in greater quality and quantity than anyone else in this little city is gossip. And if you want me to give that away, what can you offer me in return? Of equal value? I make delicious cocktails. I could share some of my gossip. Darling, don't take this the wrong way, but if you know something that I don't, I'll have to reevaluate my understanding of the order of the universe. No offense intended. I have a better suggestion. You know, a personal recommendation from an esteemed member of the community, like a skilled bartender, can attract more listeners than 100 posters. All right, I'll tell my customers to listen to your show. Very good. And in return, I can offer one salacious piece of tittle and or tattle. But only one. The question is, who do you think holds the most interesting secrets? Ooh. We're gathering info on Wendy, though. But we need an alibi for Maria badly. Tell me about Maria. Oh, you won't get much drama out of that sad sack, I'm afraid. I mean, fair enough. I don't have a heart of ice, but you could see the girl suffers. I wonder what a big argument between her and the Dragos girl was about, though. But I've already said too much. Let's change our focus to weightier subjects. Gossip is like cake. Sweet in small portions, but too much can make you feel sick. I can't imagine how poor Maria must have felt. Being treated as some charity case, only to find out it could have been you winning the trophies and being showered in prize money. If only you had a chance to compete fairly. If it were me, I'd have grabbed for a hatchet. Yeah. Okay. Tell me about Maria's book at all. Oh my, talk about a juicy piece of information. Thank the goddess booksellers aren't bound by client confidentiality, I can't imagine anyone innocent would want to read about a subject like that. Okay. Hey, what about Feng's past? You want to know about that? Oh, no. I'm not following you down this path, bartender. Feng Bai is an upstanding, God-fearing woman, and also my friend. I'm not interested. Well, I should head back home. If I don't get my beauty sleep, then the Maverick will go bankrupt. Ta-ta. Peter. What am I in the mood for today? Care for a drink? Yes, I do. Perfect storm. Didn't think anyone could figure out my favorite flavors. How do you feel about prohibition? Not good. I hate it too. Yeah, in your job, I can see why. Though I guess there ain't much competition for you right now. In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king and all that. But the people in power got their reasons for this prohibition, and they sure don't care about your success or failure as a bartender. Prohibition was a test to see how far they can push us before we push back. And so far, I don't see anyone doing anything but rolling over. That's how you get power over someone. You don't push too far, too fast. You bend them to do what you want. Push too hard,
and they break. They fight back or try to get help. That's how I do it. You just keep testing the waters. Push a little edge into their space. Make demands. Disrespect them. But not so much that they notice. At first. Then one day they wake up and realize it's too late to fight back. You already have them under you. It's too late for them to get indignant, to stand up for themselves. You've already cut them off at the knees.
Is that how you got into this line of work?
No one cut me off at the knees. I take orders from whoever pays me, but they don't own me. It's just a job. I collect from people who run, and those people are, in my experience, weak. They got no spine. That's Tsara, though. The Tsarans rolled over every chance they got. First the mobilizations, then prohibition, conscription. It'll be curfew next. It's all about power and how you keep it.
Why, though?
Why? Because no one is questioning power when they've already on their knees, terrified of war. Trust me, strength recognizes strength. Some days I gotta be the monster. It's in my job description, but there's a worse kind of monster than me. They're called politicians. Ain't wrong.
Dark and Stormy. Yeah, Dark and Stormy was your go-to. It was either that or the Moscow Mule. Why do you work for Carla?
You got a problem with me working for Carla? It's no business of yours where I get my scratch, so watch your mouth. I work for whoever can afford me and needs my unique skill set. I'm a freelancer in a competitive market, afloat on a sea of supplies and demand. It's all economics, really.
And you're a freelancer for Carla?
Right now, yes.
What's she like?
Do you really want to know? Think carefully. I can talk to you about what people know about her, or I can tell you about her nature. Her true nature. My advice is this. You can't unknow things. Make sure you have the stomach for the question you ask.
What's her true nature?
Someone like Carla doesn't need to get her hands dirty very often. But you can't forget where she came from and what she did to get where she is now. She sat down with the old boss, King. They had a face-to-face. You believe that? The two most dangerous people alive sat opposite each other, like it was any other business meeting. Slicing up the city, deciding who gets what. King got the casinos, Carla got the racetrack. Carla gets the protection rackets, King does the laundry. Only problem was, Carla decided her piece of the cake wasn't big enough. At the end of the meeting, they can't reconcile. But King doesn't seem worried. He goes up to Carla and reaches out a hand. I guess he thought, at the end of the day, she's just a dame. They was both unarmed. What could she do to him?
What did she do?
She took his hand, but she looks him in the eye and says, "It's already done."
What was already done?
That's what he asks. He doesn't seem nervous, but he should be. She explains, all your men, all your connections, everything you think you can rely on, they're already gone. 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 One way or another. Most she killed, a few she turned. She knew the meeting wasn't going to work out, but it was all a distraction, the final part of a meticulous plan, years in the making.
What did he say?
It was too late for him to say or do anything. And in that moment, the craziest thing was, he believed her. It would be easier to dismiss her words as a bluff, but he knew. He knew she was telling the truth.
How did she do it?
Bombs hidden radio cars, hit men waiting in cafes, poison in wine, piano wire around the neck. I heard she iced 47 guys all in a 10-minute window during that one meeting. Can you imagine the planning that takes?
She even had King's boys who were standing outside the meeting room strung up, waiting for him like decorations. The guys in the room already turned, too. That's why Carla is dangerous. They say anger is the strongest emotion, but it's the quickest. It's gone in a flash. Not for Carla. Her anger is cold, and it waits and waits, and it never goes away. That's how I judge people. Our true nature isn't what we show to people. Our true nature is what we're capable of, what we can hold on to, and what we can do when someone threatens what we have. That's who we are. Damn, Carla sounds hot. Also, hello. Hey, Myth, you're right, though. Any good work stories? Stories from my work? You sure you got the stomach for that? Yes. I guess I could tell you about when me, Gillett, and Ronzi did a spot at a rundown outpost out in the Rauva Valley. She's a girl boss and a crime boss. Get her number. Absolutely. Behold, the perfect woman. Does she need more Guna? Well, probably not. Henchman, though. I do love that everybody in the chat's like, yeah, no, she sounds awesome. Tell me more. Tell me more about the hot crime boss woman. I hope we get to meet her. I hope she comes to the speakeasy. Before we left the city, Ronzi threatened a liquor store owner, and to keep the wolves, us, from the doors, he let us borrow his radio cab. It had a big storage unit in the back. You know, like those delivery trucks that bring the fish to the market downtown. Anyway, we were all thoroughly inebriated on the bitterberry wine Gillard had secured for us this morning. While those two were taking shots, driving, and drinking, I had a rummage in the back. And you won't believe what I found. What? A fancy dress costume. A big fluffy bear costume. The liquor store owner must have been doing kids' parties at the weekend or something. Anyway, Gillett gets so drunk he puts the costume on while me and Ronzi are taking a piss. The suit was a massive, fuzzy, and even had ears on and everything. Fancy stuff. He's stumbling around making bear noises, and we're all laughing our asses off, but this mad farmer comes running out of the trees. Turns out he lived in a farmhouse nearby, and you'll never guess what this guy was worried about. Real bears! Turns out they have big brown ones up there. Poor Gillett didn't even see it coming. Both barrels of the shotgun. Boom! What? You remember what I said at the start, right? What made you think this was going to be a happy story? He was a mad bastard anyway. At least he went out in a memorable way. Most of the other guys I worked with back in those days just had infected stab wounds or pickled their own livers. Or Gillard. I like to think of him in the afterlife in the goddess's arms, still wearing the stupid bear costume. And he's still growling. I can't believe he fucking a dude Dick Cheney'd a crime guy in a fursuit. Incredible. Hey, can you tell me about Link's Pain, Peter? Oh yeah, nasty stuff, that. You're familiar with it. Never used it myself, if that's what you're getting at. Poison's a weapon for women and cowards. Unfortunately, that does seem to cover the entirety of your suspect list, doesn't it? Tough luck. It's late. I'm going home. All right. Bjorn!
Good evening.
Evening.
What a place. Not sure where to start.
Peter would be one of my favorite customers if I was telling bar. Everybody comes, but Peter tells me a funny story about the fucked up way someone died. Yeah. Like, Peter is awful. He is a horrible son of a bitch. I would hate him in real life, probably. He's a very fun character that I like a lot.
Not sure where to start.
Alright. You look like you need a drink.
Then I look how I feel.
Buddy. Let's get you that night count, Chief. Any friends joining us today?
I don't really know many people on the boulevard or in Pekovi.
This is a friendly place.
Yes! I was nervous to come here, but it's nice. Lots of different people. I don't feel too out of place.
That's what we're aiming for.
Hey! I like that. Maybe I'll meet some of Lucas's friends. I hope they don't expect someone different.
Brother, I need you to look at Lucas. They do not expect anyone different. They do not expect anyone different. Different.
More like Lucas. Wealthy, smart. You know, book smart and witty. I'm not the kind of guy you bring out for the after-dinner chat about literature and philosophizing and that kind of thing.
Do you even want to be?
I suppose the crow is safe at night, but treads lightly in the snow.
Huh?
It's a Scotian saying. The crow's black, you see. In the snow, it's easy to spot. It's too easy to spot.
But at night,
the crow flies with confidence because the night is safe for the crow. I guess it means we all have our own comfort zone, but if we don't leave sometimes, we won't make many new friends.
yeah, his friends are absolutely going to look at this guy and go, "Oh yeah, that's Lucas's guy, for sure." I get him being like, "Oh, maybe he wants another little rich boy," but nah, look at him. Come on, man.
What a place.
Did you see the news about the peace talks today?
You joking?
Huh?
There's no chance of peace now. Treaties between the aliens and the Rusalka satellite states means they're unifying to clear a way for invasion through the Eastern Peninsula.
That's bad.
How do you not know this? How do all of you in Bukovi not know this? I keep trying to talk to Tsaran people about what's happening in the world, and they all look back at me like I'm reading them a story from a fiction novel.
You're right. We need to face the realities of war.
I understand that war is frightening, but it is gonna happen. We are running out of time, but everybody in Sara wants to pretend this party can go on forever.
Why are you so sure it's coming?
In my last job, I worked on these long, reinforced barrels for Earthshaker cannons. These things had to have striations that were 3 whole inches long to stabilize the munitions. That's because the shells carried a payload. The engineers dreamed up last month. They call it Promian Flame. It costs 800 brass per ounce to produce, and it burns human flesh down to the bone. You don't make something that expensive and that cruel unless you plan to use it. The weapons of the last Pan Nation War made 1 million widows. The weapons of the next war won't leave anyone to grieve.
Is this that bleak?
Look, I don't think it's completely hopeless. There might be a way we all come out the other end of this thing, but we all need to start behaving like our time is limited and precious, because it is. And even if you think the war doesn't affect you, this mad grain rationing is ineffectual, and it stopped all alcohol production. You can only hope the world sees sense, and soon.
Do you know about Lynxbane?
What a horrible poison. Goes to show that as much as we like to feel in control, nature has endless ways of causing us harm if we're not careful. I better hit the tracks. I need a solid 8 hours before a shift.
Sir, can you stop?
Hello.
Evening. Care for a refreshment?
Sometimes the pursuit of perfection leads us astray, but today you have not missed the mark. Cheers.
Besides Bjorn, do you know anyone else here?
Except for Vincent, not really, but I'm happy to mingle. I've already done a lap of the room, and the conversation has been decent. I make friends easily. For example, I was having an interesting chat with Detective Mertens about model trains. He's a friendly chap.
Model trains?
Yes, indeed. He's a little odd, but if you hit on his subject of interest, he gets very animated. I enjoy talking to anyone who is passionate about a subject, no matter what the subject is.
What are you passionate about?
Yes.
Coffee.
Good guess. You're a sharp one. I am very fond of a strong espresso, though a cappuccino has its place too. But only drink those in the morning. I learned that when I visited Vitula in my teens. Business looks to be going well enough.
You're a coffee enthusiast.
We have a better name than coffee enthusiast.
Mocha maniac?
What? No, I'm a brewmaster.
Any tips?
Many, too many. But if I was to suggest a top 3?
Yes.
Grinding first. Only grind right before brewing. Too early with a grind and your coffee will be stale. Next is tamping. That's when you push the coffee down in the basket. You must tamp lightly and without pressure. Don't compact the coffee or the water won't flow through evenly and will channel. And third, don't shock your hot coffee with a cold cap. You can get every step correct and ruin a good coffee pour at the very end with a cold cup.
Thanks for the tips.
Anytime. I'm opening a bag of Janie and Brown dark roast beans soon. Next time I brew some, I'll let you try it.
Awesome. Do you know about Lynxbane?
Sorry, I'm not sure why you're asking me about this.
Honestly, me neither. Do you know any of these people?
I heard about it. Goodness, what a nightmare. My thoughts go out to her family and friends. Look at the time, I have an early start tomorrow. Take care.
So, trains, huh? Good evening, bartender.
Let's catch up.
Anything else I should know about Elena? Keep conversation with her to a minimum. She's accustomed to manipulating experienced detectives and seasoned criminals. She'll eat you for breakfast. You want me to avoid her as much as you can while still using her skills in the investigation. Would she say the same about you? Undoubtedly. How do I know who to trust? Because I just told you who to trust. Oh. So... yeah, hey man. Well... a long-suffering victim of foul play ending their rivalry with a final checkmate. It's a solid theory. Still, would Miss Poper have been capable of such a cold, calculated act? Let's try to find out how she really felt about Alina. I'm not sure how this is relevant to investigation. Do you think Miss Brooker might try to skip town? Maybe. Alright. Let's just keep it in the back of our mind for now. I see. So Lena's wasn't the first poisoning Feng Bai has been implicated in. Even if she wasn't linked to the crime at the time, the fact that it happened again gives me pause. See if this lines up with anything we've already learned about Miss Bai. Excellent work, bartender. You're more resourceful than I gave you credit for. Good, good. So this is our poison, then. Not the kind of plant you could get your hands on in a city like Bakovy unless you're exceptionally well connected. Or a medical professional. Our poisoner must have gone out of their way to obtain it. Commonly found in rural areas, Wendy is missing, visiting people, possibly in the countryside, collecting more Lynxbane, or destroying evidence of where she got it. I'm beginning to like Wendy for this. Which is a shame, because I like Wendy otherwise. She's very fun. Finding out who had access to Lynxbane should lead us to our culprit. See if any of the witnesses can give us a timeline of events, too. If Lynxbane needs 4 hours to take effect, that means Alina must have been poisoned around noon. Are you seriously spending your time on this investigation, exchanging hot gossip with Ms. Carmine? You must admit it's odd. Fine, I'll entertain the idea. So you believe Miss Brooker is wearing cheap fake jewelry. What does that tell you? She doesn't have money for real jewelry. So in other words, you believe she's not all she claims to be. It's an interesting theory. If Miss Brooker is not quite as wealthy as we'd initially assumed, that means she could be our blackmailer. But we're going to need more concrete evidence than the word of Olivia Carmine. If you find any other clues that could substantiate your theory, bring them together. I don't think I have anything else for you. I think you should poison him. I wish I could. God, I wish I could. All right, Elena.
Good to see you, my dear. I hope the day has treated you kindly.
Always a pleasure, Elena.
Bars are a great place for deep thoughts, and I always think best with a glass in my hand.
You place glass on the table. How about a drink, Elena?
Please, my mind needs sharpened, and alcohol is the whetstone.
You didn't love a pirate's joy. I recall you liking, like, citrusy things. Let's try the orange daisy.
An auspicious start. This is blended perfectly. Bars are a great place for deep thought.
Oh, yes, we did this. Well, what sort of drinks do you like, Elena? Oh, yeah, we did this already. Why did you decide to come out of retirement?
The poisoned girl, Alina. She was a bit of an outsider. Something about her death felt familiar. And that feeling, it's a scab I have to pick at.
It reminds you of another case.
Yes and no. It reminds me of the way I used to be. It reminds me of the old Elena who didn't back down from challenges and wasn't afraid to follow her instincts to see where they lead.
What happened to you?
Defeat humbled me.
Defeat by whom?
I had not expected to be talking about this with you, or anyone. Perhaps when we know each other better, I'll say more.
What do you think of Detective Mertens?
What do I think of him?
Yes.
Well, he didn't get his current position without displaying some ability. He's no fool.
But
his strongest trait is not his intuition or his deduction. It is his ambition, and it has led him into foreign lands. Literally.
I don't trust him.
Trust him? No, I don't trust him to look after your interests or mine. But I trust he will do what he can to stop the killer. We can use him, but he is a tool, and a tool only works when you use it for the right job.
What do we use him for?
You're either smart enough to work your way around Detective Mertens or you're not, but if you need a little advice, leave some openings that he can explore. Don't give him conclusions, point him in directions. He can put two and two together. For anything more complicated, that's where you might have to draw him a picture.
Perhaps if we know each other better, I'll say more is a thing no human person has ever uttered, right?
Perhaps I am too hard on him. He has the potential to be a good detective, or perhaps he had potential. He is lost, dwelling on his own shortcomings. Maybe you can help him rediscover his spark, or at least keep him company while he plays with his toy trains.
Agreed that he's a tool. What's it like being a private investigator?
It's like being in one of those glamorous mystery novels that women of a certain age love so much, but without the glamour or mystery.
How so?
In real crimes, the victim is seldom beautiful and the culprit is almost always the husband. Crime is, most often, horribly mundane. Men are fragile, and when their egos are cracked, they commit violence on women.
Really?
Well, that's just the murders and assaults. And in truth, I've stepped away from those. Don't have the stomach for it anymore. Even before I retired, for 20-odd years, I was doing more prosaic investigations.
Like?
Oh, the usual. Missing persons, inheritance squabbles, insurance fraud, corporate espionage, and the odd heist.
Don't you miss the bigger cases?
I don't. Or I didn't until this affair at the Tea Terrace.
Apes! Together! Strong!
Elfie, welcome in! How's it going, Elfie and the Raiders? The fish are here. Apes together strong. Welcome in, everybody. We are playing Best Served Cold again. A murder mystery visual novel where we are trying to find the poisoner of a young woman through wheedling information out of people by serving them drinks and plying their secrets out of them. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. Larku, Elfie, Seraphin, thank you all for dropping by. The fish are really good. I love the fish emote very much. But yeah, welcome in. I saw you were playing more Warframe earlier, but I had to run errands all morning, so I didn't get a chance to drop by. You still having fun with it? Apes together strong, fish together swim. But yeah, welcome in. I'm Archaic Prospect. I like to do narrative games, primarily ones that don't have voice acting. The games that are just usually big walls of text and reading, and I read them out to y'all, and we sit here and chat about them. And very often, our friend, the executive producer, joins us because he's been trained to get treats from stream. Do you want to say hi to the Raiders? He doesn't talk, usually. But, welcome in, grab a seat, enjoy, come hang out if you'd like. Elfie, thanks for dropping by. I hope you're still having
Pizza
fun.
time.
Oh, well, Myth wants to show the Raiders our what we do here. So he has been blessed. Boy.
Pizza time.
Oh, a double blessing. This one's from Scoop. Scoop and Myth. Come on, bud. I keep telling myself that one of these days I'm gonna get a little cat cam and put it in the corner over there, so that y'all can see him snack without it being in the background. There you go, bud. Anyway. But yes, welcome in. We are talking to this woman who used to be a detective and then quit and became a private investigator. So we're trying to get some information out of her about the case that we are currently investigating. But yes, behold the shape.
Besides, I can't stand that the police are trying to incriminate my friend. She cared a lot for the girl. I hope that by seeing this case solved, poor Miss Bai can find some concept of peace again in her life. Bars are great. Oh, yeah,
that's the... Do you have family living here in Bakovi?
Normally, yes.
But?
Right now, my husband is traveling. He'll visit the twins eventually, who now both live in the colonies. But his last postcard was from, let me think, Albion, I believe.
Do you miss them?
Somewhat. But I also like being alone for a while. With all the chatter at home gone, my mind splatters back to life.
What do you do with your time?
Other than come out of retirement to moonlight on police investigations? I'm terribly fascinated by these new radio stations. What do you do with your free time?
I need to pay off debt somehow.
Well, I can't help you with that, but I'm happy you feel you can confide in me. I look forward to solving the mystery of the young woman's death together.
What do you think about speakeasies?
Fine places that serve the thirsty citizens of Bakovi in their hour of need. Those who run such establishments put their liberty on the line for a splash of bourbon.
Illegal, though.
That doesn't concern me overly.
But you worked for the police.
I worked for them. I'm not married to the police. I don't need to pretend that I agree with them. Indeed, the Bakovi Constabulary comes to me for my contrarian nature.
Contrarian?
I've found that the ruder I am to the officers in the downtown Metropole Precinct, the more they like me. When I was a younger detective, they couldn't keep up with me, but they didn't listen to me or respect me either. Now I talk to them like you would a stupid child or perhaps a very clever dog, and the boys at the station listen. Let this be a lesson to you, bartender.
I think I get it.
When you treat people like they have to earn your respect, they give you theirs for free. But it's important advice for the people who often find that they are the smartest ones in the room, but not necessarily the most charismatic.
Is that you?
No, I'm very charming.
You're very shrewd.
Yes.
I don't know why that pissed her off. I thought that was a compliment. Whatever. He told us to tell Hugo to go fuck himself. Oh shit, I'm out of snoozes and our ad starts in 45 seconds. All right, everybody, to keep those pre-roll ads off though, we have mid-roll ads. We're going to take a little 3-minute break here. Take a pause, grab a drink, use the restroom if you gotta, and we will resume chatting with this woman in 3 minutes. I want to test a theory. Interesting. You can keep doing the, I think you can farm relationship by just making the same choices again and again. Welcome all. Yeah, if we ever have to choose between Elena and Hugo, I think it's an easy fucking call. I think it's the easiest decision I will have ever made in a game. I'm gonna feed Hugo into a wood chipper if I can. Hugo sucks tremendous. All my homies hate Hugo. Hope you're all doing well on this Wednesday. Apparently you can romance Hugo. Why? What? Who is that for? Bootlickers? That's wild. Yeah, absolutely. Why? I know my chat's all right when everybody's reaction to "you can date the cop" is gross or why. That's a good chat we got right there. All right, we're back. We're back and ready to go. What do you think of the Bakovi police force?
What do I think about them? They've got a storied history. If you look back at the formation over the years, you can see why they are how they are.
Tell me about their history.
The Bakovi Constabulary, to use the proper title, is a successor to the defunct Bakovi Imperial Order Regiment. You see, the old BIOR was militarized. With the Bakovi's history of uprising and coups, the reigning aristocracy was mainly focused on keeping order in the streets. The old saying goes, Sarin politician would swear loose collars because they know the noose is always waiting. Wait, are you still listening? Or is this too much for the short attention span of your generation?
Still listening.
Well, it all changed when the military staged a coup against our old, aspiring Emperor Leopold the Bold. The old fool angered the generals, and they all turned on him.
That's not exactly what the history books say.
It is, if you read them properly and consider who wrote them. Anyway, this bickering between the Imperial Guard, the BIOR, and the actual army started to worry the real power brokers in Tsara, the landed gentry.
And
a lot of soldiers found they no longer had homes in the winter. Financial levers were pulled, and the constabularies were founded primarily of ex-soldiers, employed to evict those who couldn't make rent.
it was all a scheme.
The new constabularies were paid 3 times what the BIOR received, and recruitment drives were aggressive. Soon we had a demilitarized nation with a swollen police force. Of course, that didn't last. Once Leopold was exiled and the riots, protests, and skirmishes subsided, the constabularies were slashed to the bare minimum, and we were left with the understaffed, overly aggressive PD you see in Bakovi. We have more empty police precincts in Tsara and tea houses in Huasha, but not to worry. They make lovely bird sanctuaries in the long, cold winter.
So, that's why they're
Not great.
Their primary motivation is the protection of property and to stabilize commerce, so the Bakovi economy chugs along like a steam locomotive. They tackle street-level crime with the same ethos as the established gangs that rule Bakovi Undercity.
And that ethos is?
You can't catch every lawbreaker, so when you catch one, make the poor bastards suffer. Then you hope your overreaction frightens the rest of them enough that they commit their crimes a little more discreetly.
What do you think about that?
You should think hard enough to form your own opinion and find the courage to share it.
Okay. Maybe I could ask you some questions.
How about we switch things up a bit and I ask you some questions? I feel like you're doing a lot of interrogation and maybe we turn the tables for a minute. Treat it like a lesson, darling. I've been getting information out of suspects all my life. Let me show you how it's done.
All right.
Do you think you're up to the task of tracking down a killer?
I'll try.
Cautious? Interesting. Let me give you some guidance. When you are trying to get a read on someone, there's only one question you need to hold in your head.
And that is?
What does this person want me to feel about them?
That's it.
That's it. We all wear a mask when speaking with others, and the mask is built to show something. Be on the lookout for the people trying to show you. It won't be too hard to spot. Now, what kind of investigator do you want to be? Do you want to serve your community or save yourself?
I am trying to do both, but I want to save myself.
Interesting. You're being honest with yourself and with me. What? That seems harsh to you. Well, that's rather the point, darling. Getting a read on someone isn't about a flattering idea of their nature. It's about the unflattering truth. Now, are you a sociable sort, or do you prefer your own company?
I enjoy time to myself.
Yes, reading or listening to the wireless, I bet. Working a bar would make anyone crave some peace and quiet. Last question. Are you in love with anyone who doesn't know it?
Huh?
It's not a long or complex question, darling, and I don't care who it is. I'm just wondering if your heart is pining right now.
I'm not in love with anyone.
Well, smooth sailing makes you appreciate the waves when they come again. And though things are calm now, a storm can come at any time. That's all of my questions for now.
What was the point of this?
3 things. To practice, to educate, and to form an opinion about you.
And?
I am rusty, but my instincts remain. You'll have learned a little something, if you were listening. And I haven't decided what I think of you, but you're not boring. And that's enough for me, for now.
All right, let's start talking about the case then. Because you've got infinite presenting, much like Hugo. So we get to talk to you about everything.
Yes, a truly dreadful way to go. Considering Alina's age and general good health, I can't imagine this being anything but foul play, but what could have brought on these particular symptoms? You'll need to find out more about the cause of death if you want to narrow down your list of suspects.
All right, what can you tell me about the threatening letter?
The plot thickens. It seems the Bakovi police still has its uses. They've done well unearthing this piece of information for us. I imagine Detective Mertens believes that our mystery blackmailer could be the killer, Definitely a solid lead. We'll need to find out what Alina's secret is if we're to narrow down our list of suspects. Her close friends might be able to tell us. It certainly sounds in character for young Mr. Durand to show up late, doesn't it? If we're lucky, the time of his arrival might just cross him off of our list of suspects. Try to find a way to narrow down our time frame. When exactly could Alina's death have been set in motion?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We gotta build a timeline. She was poisoned at noon.
I'd have thought a girl like Alina wise enough to steer clear of such things, and certainly too wise to take them in excess. It's true that medication like this can do some serious damage to one's health over time, but I somehow doubt it's that simple. Her friends knowing her secret, though, now that part is interesting. This buy may have saved lives, but of course Detective Mertens is quick to point the finger at her for it. Still, let's do our due diligence and at least ask her where she learned about charcoal's medicinal properties. So the blackmailer resorted to murder. Our culprit must have been someone with a lot on the line and a serious need for money. Try to gain the trust of the suspects involved and see if the shoe fits for any of them. Feng Bai knew these girls well. If she believes that there may have been some bad blood there, I believe her. We'll need to find out what their quarrel could have been about. One of their friends might be able to tell us more.
All right, what about the toxicology?
I'm not surprised. Miss Bai is a wise and well-traveled woman. Let's put the idea of her being some killer to bed already, shall we? She's been hassled enough by our detective. Must we go digging in her past, too?
Yes.
I suppose I'm impressed. To learn about Fang's past without her consent is no simple task, but you seem determined to dig up her secrets. Don't go putting any wild thoughts in your head, bartender. This means nothing.
What about the betrayal?
It's possible that they fought over Lena's use of medication. The timeline certainly lines up, but for it to have ended their friendship entirely? I'd imagine there's a little more to this that we have yet to piece together. Interesting. Mr. Flower could stand to hold the privacy of his customers and hierarchy.
Oh, this is asking about the poison manual that Maria checked out.
Interesting. Mr. Flower could stand to hold the privacy of his customers in high regard, but in this case it has brought a valuable piece of information. This doesn't look good for Miss Popa.
All right, let's talk about Maria playing second fiddle.
I'm not sure I would consider Miss Brooker the best judge of character. But if a shift in Maria's attitude was clear even to her, there may be something there. Try to find out what could have soured her like that. What a painful affair.
Asking about the betrayal, the motive for Maria killing.
What a painful affair. A betrayal this personal could certainly be motivation for the murder. I imagine Miss Dragos had her reasons for what she did, although I doubt we'll ever find out what they were.
Let's talk about Wendy visiting family.
Taking a relaxing vacation in the middle of an ongoing murder investigation might come across a bit callous, but I suppose it is her right. The fact that she told you about it is probably a good sign. Not that I imagine Miss Brooker has any intent to slip away.
Lynxbane.
Fascinating. All of Alina's symptoms match those of Lynxbane poisoning. That's a plant native only to Zara. Our nation's history is littered with rumors and stories about Lynxbane poisoning. It's a useful medicine, but a potent toxin. As with all things, it's the dosage that makes the difference. And that can be hard to measure if you're not familiar with the plant in the process. You'd be shocked if you didn't find a small stash of the stuff in the office of any doctor on Bakovi Boulevard.
How do you know all this?
I paid attention in history class when I was in school, and I paid attention when I went for dinner with Dr. Durand and her son, Gillian.
Fascinating. So Killian had access to the Lynxbane. Rhinestone jewels.
I suppose if I were to trust anyone's judgment on jewelry, it would certainly be Olivia Carmine's. How peculiar. You'd think someone from such wealth wouldn't be caught dead wearing mere rhinestones, let alone passing them off as an heirloom. Still, I suppose being tacky is not a crime.
Do we think someone was trying to cure Alina of something and screwed up the dosage? Maybe. Maybe it was... Oh. Fuck. I think I have an idea. I'm betting Lynxbane acts... I think that's a good point. Schmatter Cagnus put me on an epiphany. I think Lynxbane probably acts as a counter-agent to the performance-enhancing drugs that Alina was on. I'm guessing somebody may have fucked the dosage up real bad and poisoned her, when what they attempted to do was put her on an even footing with Maria Possibly to prove that she was worse than Maria? To cut her down to size? To do something? It was designed to counteract her performance-enhancing chest drugs, but ended up killing her instead. It may not have been designed to kill. Killian was concerned about taking those drugs, and he is incompetent. That is true. One gram will counteract it, 10 grams will kill you. 10 of her friends all had the same idea. So we do a real Murder on the Orient Express. Everyone did it. Everyone killed her. And that's currently my operating theory, because that's a good point. Elena explained that lynxbane is commonly used by medical professionals for its medicinal properties, including doctors such as Killian's mother. I don't know what poor Agatha Durand did to be cursed with such a fool of a son. Perhaps his father dropped it on his head as a child. If he does turn out to be our culprit, at least you can be certain that punishment will be more severe than that of any judge. Okay, I don't think we have anything else to talk about. I have business to attend to. And by that, I mean I am going to my back room and I am going to start connecting things with strings. Yeah. Okay. I think we have a few things that are going to be able to connect here. Lynxbane. Yeah, I was right. Killian's innocence. Killian's late arrival confirms that he couldn't have poisoned Alina, as it takes 4 hours for Lynxbane to take effect. Whoever poisoned Alina's team must have done so before Killian arrived. So, yeah, Killian, it's not Killian. The timeline is wrong. Oh, yeah, poor Wendy, the ransom note. Rhinestone heirlooms to threatening letter. Oh, rhinestone heirlooms to blackmail. No. Really? I'm shocked that that doesn't connect. Oh, yeah, Killian's late entrance can be set to the side, I think. Huashan Assassin. Fang has extensive knowledge of toxins and has been suspected in a deadly poisoning before. She would have the knowledge to kill Alina if she wanted to. I don't think we have a motive for her, like, at all, though. Maybe we'll connect later. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's not the piece of evidence that connects. if we have anything else. To connect right now. I don't like Feng Bai for it. Again, the motive just isn't really there. Sure, she could have done it, I guess, but, like, again, why? I'm liking Wendy, at least being involved. Yeah, Linksbane is specifically a Zarin poison. It's not that she wouldn't necessarily know about it, but it's not necessarily that she's going to have it in her repertoire as readily available as something that she might be more familiar with. And I just, it's partly Wendy out of process of elimination because I don't see, unless it was straight up an accident, I don't see Down Bad Maria poisoning Alina. Well, let's see if we can get some more information about the from Maria and Killian, hopefully, now that we've got all this Linksbane shit, because we haven't been able to talk to them about Linksbane at all. But yeah, we have Killian's clean, because the timing just straight up doesn't work. Oh, hey, what's up? Peter Wagner stomps into the speakeasy. He seems distracted. As he's about to sit down, he mumbles to himself, turns sharply, and heads towards the bar instead. Something bothering you, Peter? Either an accidental poisoning by Maria or an intentional poisoning by Wendy, or potentially an accidental poisoning by Wendy as well. Maybe Wendy aimed to expose her for being a fraud. What was the line on the blackmail letter, real quick? I want to... A letter found demanding money for keeping her secret. That strikes me as expose. Intent to expose rather than kill. Possibly to expose that she can't beat Maria in chess if she's not doping. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. But something bothering you, Peter? Yeah, there's a nosy bartender asking too many questions. You chose to sit here. I did, so let's make sure I don't regret it. Look, I know the damn detective has you by the leash, otherwise he'd shut this place down. If you asked him to split a donut with you, he'd give you the whole. That's why he recruited you to dig into people's private details so he can get his next paycheck. But if it helps you out, I do have a little info for you. Yesterday, I saw some weird occurrences, and I thought that lousy bartender will be interested to hear this. That lousy bartender is listening. Nice to see you take it on the chin with a smile. I hope I don't end up liking you. Nothing good ever happens to my friends. Are you familiar with Miss Brooker, the overdressed redhead that looks like a walk-in jewelry store? Last I heard, she's off to visit some family. I normally don't bother too much with old money families, seeing as they rarely need a loan. But I noticed something fishy. I had to catch a train yesterday for a job outside Bakovy. Some people think debt has regional jurisdiction, and it's my job to make sure that when they run, their debt record runs faster. Thought I spotted a familiar figure at the station, and when I was looking for an empty compartment, who do I see hanging out in second class? Miss Fancy Pants herself, Wendy Brooker. Did she see you as well? Besides the scar, I'm hard to spot in a sea of dirty proles. And she was trying very hard not to make eye contact with anyone. She already stood out like a sore thumb. But what really bothered me was the fact that she didn't get off at the second to last stop. Where was the train headed? Ever been to Rauva? It's that backwater rural piss hole up north. I had to get off one stop early, but when I passed her compartment, she was still sitting there. Main exports to that region are fruit, vegetables, and statistics on poverty. Whatever business Miss Brooker had up there can't be anything legit. Very interesting. I did my duty and I helped out a pal. Now be a pal back in case, and if I ever need a favor in the future, hear me out. Fair? I'll think about it. Yeah, she's going rural, which is where the fucking Linksbane comes from. Commonly found in rural Sara. That I can connect to Linksbane once I get to the back, I bet. Just for, that'll get me murder weapon, I suspect. Okay, let's start with the eavesdrop. You aren't planning on dropping this case, are you?
No, Hugo, my investigation is still ongoing, as I would hope is yours.
As a civilian, my investigation is none of your business, Miss Ernest, and I might remind you that mine is the only one being conducted in any official capacity. I did save right before Peter shut up. Thank you, though. Any day.
You may do whatever you like, but considering your official methods consist of spending every moment at an illegal speakeasy while your little assistant does all the legwork, I hope you'll excuse me for raising an eyebrow.
My methods are not what's being discussed here, nor will they ever be. I did my legwork, collecting all the hard evidence and testimonies I could, locating a place to gather all suspects in a room together, and buying my little assistant 2 weeks of time to interrogate them, and I will do even more legwork, making whatever material they give me actually hold up in a court of law.
And I'm sure the bartender's role in this will go unmentioned in your reports after all is said and done, while you claim a new feather in your cap,
Hugo remains silent, but you hear the leather of his gloves creak as his grip tightens around the edge of the table. Elena flashes the detective a knowing smile and tips her cigarette into the ashtray.
I'm only teasing you, Detective Mertens. I know the last thing our bartender needs at a time like this is their name on any police records.
I'm glad you agree. It's not like I'm rewarding their efforts either. It's not like I'm not rewarding their efforts either. I'm sure this business I'm allowing them to run is lucrative, or else Carla's man Wagner wouldn't be sniffing around like a dog looking for table scraps.
Oh, sure. You got this arrangement all figured out, haven't you?
You can't deny it pays dividends. They've been making some solid deductions based on the material we would struggle to get out of my suspects. Everyone lets their guard down around a bartender.
Under different circumstances, I'd be telling you to speak for yourself, Hugo, but I'll admit you're onto something. Despite my chiding, I do respect your out-of-the-box thinking in setting all of this up. That was always your strength, after all. What you lack in social finesse, you make up for in initiative. I just hope you're not losing sight of what you're doing all of this for.
Can we please get back to talking about the way you're putting both yourself and this case at risk by doing an unofficial investigation without any official backing or protections?
No, dear. We cannot.
Oh, they're delightful. Elena is so much better than Hugo in every respect. Oop.
Good to see you, my dear. I hope this day has treated you kindly.
All right. Actually, I don't need to talk to you. I didn't mean to click on you. I'm sorry. We'll talk later after I talk to all of these other folks. All right. Let's start with Maria.
Another day. I'm so glad work is over.
Good evening, Maria.
Let's catch up.
A drink?
Sure.
She was giving me nothing. So friend Ava helped us out by telling me what her drink is.
I must admit, this tastes great. You should travel to a less backwards country and join one of those bartender competitions.
Can you tell me about Alina?
She was like sunlight cracking at the clouds. Without her, I just feel like... Where do I even start? It's all so unfair.
Maria hunches over her drink. A tear rolls down her nose and lands on the bar.
I didn't realize growing up was just leaving these things behind over and over. When my mom was ill, she said she hoped dying was like being a sleepy kid at a party when you can't keep your eyes open. Your dad lifts you to your bed and, listening to the laughter in the other room, you drift off to sleep. Alina didn't get that. Not fucking close. All she had was fear and panic, and when she died, her gasps didn't stop. They carried on inside me. I knew her, and I know how she felt at the end. Nobody knows me the way she did. And now she's gone.
Let's catch up. Maria broke down in tears when asked about Alina's death, showing profound grief over the loss of her best friend. If someone who knows her well can confirm these are her true feelings, it seems unlikely she's the culprit.
Hey, Maria, go sit down for a second. I want to talk to Feng real quick.
Hello. Good to see you.
Likewise, Ms. Bai.
What do you recommend today?
When did we get her?
You were like okay with the one night stand. Let's try the Orange Daisy. That seems to be the one that most people seem to like this run around.
Perfection! You mix drinks like I brew tea, with patience and care and with your heart. So what do you recommend?
Hey, okay, so. Can you tell me about Maria breaking down?
How much do I know about Maria? Well, certainly more than most people. She and Alina visited the tea terrace nearly every day, practicing chess, talking, laughing. In all my years, I've rarely seen a more close and intimate friendship. I would put my life on the line and testify against anyone who believes that Maria had anything to do with Alina's death. It pains me to see her suffer so much on her own. All she ever needed was Alina, and now she's gone.
Thank you for your insight. That's hard. Feng saw Alina and Maria the way a mother would view her children. She is convinced Maria could never have hurt Alina, and it pains her to see the girl's genuine suffering in the wake of her friend's death. So Maria is innocent, so it's between Wendy and Fang. And I don't see it being this old woman. But I'm going to confront you about being a Huashan assassin. We should chat about that.
So this is the theory you've put together, is it? I would applaud all your hard work, but while people like you and the young detective are barking up the wrong tree, Alina's real murderer goes unpunished. Don't miss the forest for the trees, bartender. I'll admit my past may be more colorful than most, but the point remains. I loved that girl. Why would I ever want to harm her?
Good question. The motive is the thing that I've always said is utterly impossible for you. Tell me about your past, though.
You're really leaving no stone unturned, are you? Fine, there's no point in denying it. Yes, I worked at the tea house as a young waitress. Like many small businesses in the area, it was held in a chokehold by this family and the crime syndicate that they ran. Violence and extortion were rife, and they squeezed the life out of my local community, terrorizing my friends and neighbors. Those who stood up to them disappeared overnight. So, what choice did we have?
Were you part of this vigilante organization?
For a moment, Fang simply looks at you in silence, trying to read your face.
I am merely a woman who tries to protect her loved ones, dear. If only I could have protected Alina.
You tell me about Lynxbane?
You think this is what killed poor Alina? Goddess! Good work identifying it. You certainly are resourceful. I do wonder how someone could have gotten their hands on this here in the city. Oh, is that the time? I'm off home. Take care.
Okay. Oh, are we... Yeah. Presenting Fang's testimony that she's innocent.
Ms. Bai is so kind. I've been so wrapped up in my own feelings I didn't realize how much she must have been hurting too.
I'm going to ask you about her being an assassin because maybe you two are each other's alibis.
Don't be ridiculous. Ms. Bai is a kind, wise woman. She doesn't deserve this.
Okay. Hey, did you know your friend's heirlooms were fake?
Okay. So some jeweler sold her a pair of fakes. I don't see what this has to do with anything.
She claimed they were heirlooms.
Are you sure? Wendy only puts up with me for Alina's sake. I can't imagine her willingly subjecting herself to the presence of the proles.
The person that told me had no reason to lie.
Interesting. Perhaps she just went to yell at poor people to let off steam.
But that's an insane thing to think.
So it was Lynxbane. Huh. I can't believe such a pretty flower could do all that.
You're familiar with it?
With the plant? Sure, I paid attention in class. I've never seen one in real life, though, only in drawings.
Okay.
Good for her. Must be nice to return to the family mansion after slumming it with us city folk. Sorry, that was catty of me. I guess I can't blame her for seeking the support of her family after what happened. I'm off. It's late and I have work in the mornings.
Okay.
Good evening.
Evening. You look like you need a drink. I don't really think I have anything to talk to you about, though. So, I hope you enjoy your drink. Goodbye. Okay. You go. All right, I got new info. Killian's late arrival and his innocence. That rules out the ex-boyfriend, then. Good work, bartender. This will allow us to focus our attention on the remaining suspects. Let's share Fang's testimony. Considering Miss Bai herself is a suspect, she would have had much to gain from incriminating Maria, lending credence to her defense. I would say this closes the book on Miss Popa for now. One less suspect to worry about. You know what? You can sit over there, Hugo. Let's talk to the cooler detective. Always a pleasure, Elena. First, how about a drink?
Oh no. It got stuck.
All right. I want to talk about the everything, honestly.
Interesting. In this line of work, you can often bet good money on the ex-boyfriend being the culprit. I'm not too surprised, though. This kind of crime could have taken a level of premeditation that seems a little beyond Mr. Duran, bless his heart. Excellent work, bartender. That's a suspect crossed off the list.
Maria coming clean.
You play the social game well, bartender. Nice work, getting her to open up. Grief like this is not what I would expect from a murderer, but tears alone are no defense. You'll need some confirmation that her feelings are genuine from someone who knows her well.
Well, great news. I got that.
Being a suspect herself, it seems to me that Feng Bai would have little reason to lie on Miss Purper's behalf. I think we can trust her judgment. Colorful history. You're basing your wild theories on speculation from the distant past. I will admit that you've clearly put some thought into this, but you're making a very serious accusation here. And so I see no need to hold back in sharing this information. When Feng left Huasha to enter Sara, I was in charge of investigating her background while she applied for a residence permit. What I found was not some fanatical, bloodthirsty assassin, but a scared young woman who had tried to make her home a better place. After her permit was approved, a particularly vexatious Bukovi constable would pester me to check up on her again and again. I never found any dirt. I think he had some vendetta, or maybe it was plain old bigotry. In those 10 years, she never set a foot wrong. It's easy for someone from Huasha to become a scapegoat for whatever the Bukovi constabulary is cracking down on, but she never gave them the excuse to pull her up. She noticed my attention and eventually we became friends. I regularly visited her tea house and her home. I don't need to remind you that at my age, I am the very definition of old money. I always felt safe. If you're trying to make Feng as the one who poisoned that poor girl, I can tell you right now that you're wasting your time. Feng wouldn't bother with a young girl, and if she did, she wouldn't get caught. She had plenty of chances to eliminate enemies, and she could have done so without repercussions, but she never did. The records of my investigation would provide a solid defense during any trial, and I would gladly provide them.
I see. Your Honor, she did that, but it was cool of her, and she supported her community. So, that's fine. Okay. That's tremendous. I mean, I love how we have no evidence. However, process of elimination does lead us to believe that it literally has to be Wendy. We need evidence, though. I literally can't submit the case, I think. So, all right. Let's see if we can tie that weekend visit and second-class bullshit to potentially murder. Wendy recently visited Rauva, an impoverished rural area outside of Bukovi. The stack mentioned that lynxbane grows in areas just like this. If Wendy has traveled here before, it could be where she got the poison that killed Alina. Okay. I can put a lot of this away now. really feel like I should be able to connect these rhinestone things to anything. Okay. Impoverished relatives. I thought I'd combine these. Wendy was seen traveling second class to the poor area of Ralva after mentioning that she was visiting her family. Could it be that the Brooker family is not as wealthy as she claims? So that I can tie. Keeping up appearances. Oh, we're just going through a chain here. Could it be that Wendy is not who she says she is? Her fancy jewelry is fake, and her supposedly old money family appears to be living in an impoverished part of the country. Is she really an heiress? It's red herring, and she just has shit taste in jewelry. Yeah. That. That doesn't tie to anything? Okay. Yeah, I think I need to present this probably to do anything with it. Some of them are family heirlooms. It's a family tradition to get scammed. Gullible is a genetic trait. God, we're so close. Right? We're so close. Oh, I can submit the case now. Just by process of elimination. I don't know if I should. I'm not going to yet. I want to see if we can get a little bit more information because I feel like we can get a motive. It's just none of these things. Like, we have the motive, right? She's broke as shit and trying to extort Alina to keep up her lifestyle because she learned about the chest drugs. The motive for actually killing her, though, is tough. But that all's going to have to wait for next time. Thank you all for coming, everybody. It was a very fun and very revelatory day. We got a lot of really cool things, and we learned a lot. So I'm looking forward to probably wrapping this case tomorrow. Same time, same place. As always, I wanted to thank you all for coming. I appreciate everybody being here, chatting about various things in the chat and hanging out and just being part of this whole thing. Wouldn't be able to do it without all of your support, and it means the world to me. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to Elfie and any of Elfie's raiders if they're still here. Appreciate y'all being here. If you ever want to check out what happened in the previous episode so that you have a little bit more context, I have a VOD channel that I regularly update with backlogged videos of the various games that we've played. Feel free to check it out. Links below in my profile. But until then, I will see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Let's solve a murder. Have a good Wednesday evening, everybody. Goodbye. Hey, if you stuck around to the end of the video, I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed. If you want to help support me in making more of this, you can follow me on Twitch, where I stream these live. Like, comment, and subscribe. I suspect you all know how this works by now, but it really does help a lot. Thanks.